I'm talking with Ian Longworth, of course, the man who's in charge of all our transport in the Isle of Man. And the story, we've covered the horse tram site this morning, but what I want to sit you down is the one with the electric tram up the mountain, which has obviously been a major issue. I think September last year it stopped when the second accident happened. But there was a first one, and I know there was a report out. Did that ever get a conclusion? Because I don't remember seeing anything on that one. Yeah. That was the runaway tram, the one that came off in the corner.
Yes. That, of course, was unmanned at the time.
Yeah.
And fortunately, therefore, there were no problems with as a result of that. And yes, it was a very sad incident. We investigated it. The fundamental issue is that the Victorian standards of engineering are not necessarily acceptable today. And there is no safeguard on the Snaefell cars against such things happening.
So that sort of was one shock, but then to follow it up with a second accident was pretty unbelievable for people watching. What was going, the safety suddenly became very critical, which I think people were taking for granted that everything was safe, but it wasn't, was it?
Yes. The analogy that somebody's quoted to me was that I've got a Ford Fiesta and that's safe, but it would be safer if I had a Volvo. And it's a similar situation. The Victorian standards are very reliant on the human being to perform in their job and to do the job well and to do the job safely. And there is very little backup to that in the scenarios that we face. In a modern world, in a modern railway, the driver is, yes, they're doing his job, but there are systems behind him that support him if he has a bad moment. And we don't have that.
And you got shut down, didn't you, because things were deemed unsafe?
No, we decided to shut 6 weeks early so that we had time to look at the problem sensibly and see what we could do to solve the problem, to see how we could go forward. And
you've been travelling around Europe looking at other models, I hear?
Yes, examples? It's well reported that I had a trip to Switzerland with some of my engineers to talk to manufacturers. We want to see what we can do with the cars to improve the system. The cars are 1895. The control equipment on them is a 1930s design, built in 1950, and came here second-hand in the late 70s. And clearly, you've got to be very careful that if you alter and interfere with that control gear, you actually make it even more dangerous. What we've got to do is to look at modifications that will improve matters and put in a more modern safety system on top.
Well, the big news we're sitting here today is that you've got the green light to start operating the system again. So this is breaking news as such, that there will be a service up Snaefell.
Yeah, we'd hoped to start today, but we hadn't had the ability to get up to commission the building, which we've done today, and therefore we'll start running with the first tram tomorrow.
I think a lot of people are quite interested to hear that news, because I think some people thought it wasn't coming back until modifications are done. But you're saying nothing has actually changed at the minute, or have you done things?
You can imagine that when something is 123 years old, and the 6 original trams were built, they get changed over the years and they get modified and they age and they wear. And what we've actually done is an awful lot of research into how the fell brake was designed. And in fact, we found all the cars had different fell brakes. And what we've done, because in those days they were all adjusted to fit each individual tram, and what we've done is we've gone through the design of the system and we've rebuilt them with all brand new equipment, so they all function as manufactured, as new in 1895 to the top standard.
I'm not technical, but a dead brake or something, wasn't it? If all the power and everything, this tram would stop. But this is the original system, which isn't that. You actually physically have to put the brake on?
Yes.
So you're still living on this sort of older...
We're still living with the older technology, but it's all been overhauled and it all works properly. And therefore, the driver and, of course, the vehicles have a second man on, the brakesman, are there to ensure safety and to make sure the system works properly.
And, of course, accidents shouldn't happen. But, I mean, back to that first tram, now I know it was on man, but that ran down by itself, didn't it? Because if it had a dead brake, it would have stopped, I presume, would it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are things that we look to do. We've had a project going now for 18 months to look at modern safety systems on old trams, and we've been defeated by various problems, but we're still working on that, and hopefully we will take that forward over this next year.
absolutely safe to be on those trams then?
Absolutely safe to be on those trams. They've run for 123 years. There have been various incidents and problems over the years, but fundamentally, everybody's got up and everybody's got down.
Sure. I mean, you're very optimistic. And do you regret the sort of stance you took when this problem happened and people on board that tram? You were sort of making quite light of it. Your department, anyway, was saying, "Oh, there's nothing big." Then we had the first-hand, accounts of people on board that tram who were terrified by sounds of the things out of control.
It was an unfortunate experience for the people on board.
But you made quite light of it, didn't you?
No, I was misquoted by several people,
okay.
and which was disappointing. I was concerned as the people were concerned, because we'd given them a fright and we're supposed to give them excitement by going up Snaefell, and not that sort. But at the end of the day, the tram performed as it should.
Okay. Safety, everyone says, is paramount in everything.
It is.
And this is a stopgap measure, or will you still be looking at this system where if all else fails, the brakes come on?
We will continue to explore how we put in a modern backup into the 1930s control gear, but we won't do it if we can't do it safely and not affect the performance of the current equipment.
Just remind me, didn't health and safety come in last year and stop the whole thing? You were still running it. They stopped you.
No. We volunteered to stop 6 weeks early. There was other things that happened after that, but we stopped 6 weeks early to give us the space to do the investigation and to see what we could do.
So do you need a certificate from somebody to start again? Has it got to pass some sort of scrutineering?
Every year the railways are inspected by the railway inspector, which here is undertaken by the Health and Safety Executive.
And they've cleared you?
They've cleared us to run.
And is that full service, back to normal?
Full service, back to normal.
How important is it, while we're talking, with all this sort of infrastructure now, we're talking about these big ships arriving and that sort of thing, but does it make money or does it still lose money, these things? Or is that too difficult to say?
Oh, no. The railways contribute massively to the gross domestic product, the GDP of the island. Yeah. The two biggest tour operators that come for the railways contribute something like 17,000 bed nights to the island's economy. Right. So it's very, very important. Of the cruise ship passengers that come here, a quarter of them go up Snaefell. Last year we had over 62,000 people up Snaefell despite shutting 6 weeks early, which compares with when I came here 10 years ago of 36,000.
Right.
So the growth in the tourism that we've had, Snaefell is a very important part of that, as the other heritage railways are.
So we should be hearing no more headlines about anything else. You had two back-to-back sort of thing, obviously. It seemed like back-to-back, but in the same year, wasn't it? In your view, I just ask one more time, you're absolutely happy and the system is going to be safe?
We have been back to the first basics of the system. We've overhauled everything and we've tested it and it works well.